Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is a purple yarn that I'm going to be using to make the border all around the hat. To begin this row, let's make sure that the hat is nice side out, and we will begin by working on the bottom center. Okay, so next we're going to pull out our yarn and then chain one and pull all the way out. Then you can bring it back down to size, and we're going to yarn over and do a half double crochet into that same stitch, and that will count as our first stitch. And we are just going to place one half double crochet into each stitch all the way around until we reach the corners of the hat, and we'll meet there. Okay, so once you get to the corner, then we are going to put in an increase into the very last stitch, like there. And we're just going to put 1 and 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. And then again, we're going to go to the next stitch and put in 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. Now we are just going to try our best to evenly distribute our half double crochets all along this side of the border. And what I try to do is go in between the previous treble crochets and not around the whole treble, because then it will look like holes in the edge. And as you can see, I'm also trapping my tail. Once you finish going all the way around, we are just going to slip stitch together, chain 1, and do 1 half double crochet into that same stitch. And then we're going to put 1 into each stitch that follows. Okay, so once we get to the corners, we are just going to do the same. So we're just going to add 2 increases. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm just going to put 1 half double crochet and then another half double crochet into that same stitch. And again, I'm going to do another increase. So 1 half double crochet and then 2 half double crochets. And we will do the same for the other corner as well. Now we are just going to just keep putting 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. Now we are going to begin working on her braids, and each strand is going to be 24 inches long. So as you can see, that's 1 strand already. And we're going to wrap around the ruler 12 times in order to have enough hair for braid number 1. Okay, so once you have 12 strands around your ruler, then we're just gonna cut the exact same place where we first put our strand. As you can see, our strand where we started, and we are just going to cut them. And if you count them individually, you should have 12 strands. Okay, so for braid number 2, we will cut out 9 strands of this brown color, and then the other 3 will be of the blonde color. Once you're done wrapping around 9 times, then you could just go ahead and cut. Now we're gonna work on the blonde strands of hair, and we're just gonna wrap around 3 times. For Anna's bangs, we will wrap the yarn around the ruler 7 times. But except this time, we will cut both of the ends in order to have a total of 14 12-inch strands. Now for Anna's blonde part of her bangs, we will only need 3 12-inch strands. And then I had already cut another 12-inch strand. So 3 blonde strands for her bangs. Now we are going to work on the purple drawstrings, and we will need a total of 6 purple 24-inch strands. And we'll meet once you're done. So once you're done cutting all your strings, it should look like this. You should have some sets of long strings and some short strings for your bangs. We are going to make sure that the nice part of the hat is showing on the outside, and we are going to fold this flap over like that. As you can see, I'm folding my strand in half in order to attach to the rim. And I'm going to grab my G-hook. I like it because it's small and it can help me get into the tight spaces from my previous stitches. And we are going to go into the very middle of the hat. As you can see the line right there from where we started. We will just insert our hook. I'm going to go into it with my hook through both loops and grab the yarn and pull it through to make a loop. Next, I'm going to wrap it over my hook and pull it all the way through and tighten. And I'm going to grab my next yarn and do the same. Go through the stitch with your hook first, pull it through, wrap both the yarns over, and pull all the way through. So next we are going to work the 2 blonde strands in at once. So fold them in half and then go into the next stitch. And then we are going to pull them through. Then we're going to yarn them over and pull all the way through the loop. Then we're going to tighten and secure. Next we are going to grab 1 brown and 1 blonde strand and fold them. Go into the next stitch and pull them through, yarn over, pull the way out. Okay, so now we are only going to be working with one strand, and we are just going to do 3 more strands on this side. Then we'll move back to the center. Now we're going to go back to the center of the hat, and instead of working from from the center to the left, now we're going to work from the center to the right. And we're just going to use up the rest of our strings, and of course using this exact same method as before. Then we'll meet for the next step. Next, I'm going to cut my bangs, and I'm just gonna pick up some, and I'm just gonna cut and use my fingers as a guide. But you can cut them however you want. I ended up straightening on very low heat with my straightener and then cutting them better. Now we are going to find the very center of the hat. As you can see, it's right there. And then we are going to call these sets squares. So we are going to go 3 squares to the left, and that is where we are going to begin. Okay, so let's go in with our crochet hook. You can use a size G hook instead, that way it could go in easier. Next, we are going to gather our 4 strands of yarn, and we're going to put them together and fold them in half like that to create a loop in the center. Now we're going to feed the loop through the stitch, and then we're going to yarn all of the strands over and pull through exactly like we were doing before, and tighten. Okay. Next, we are going to grab another 4 strands of yarn, and as you can see, I grabbed the 3 blonde yarns and 1 brown yarn. And again, we are just gathering them together so that we could fold it in half. And we're going to do this to the rest of the yarn as well. Now we're going to start from the center, and we're going to go to 3 squares to the right, and that is where we will attach our next strands of yarn for our braid. So right there. Now we are going to attach the drawstrings, and we will begin by grabbing 3 strands of yarn and again we are going to fold it in half and attach to the very corner of the hat.